Food and diet. So a quick intro here. This is a crucial component to having your pet be the happiest and healthiest possible. Following proper guidelines is so important because there's so much room for error that can definitely be really impactful. They are herbivores and browsers in the wild. Browsers are animals that eat mainly in leafy greens and berries. Horsefields also eat mushrooms, insects, and carrion in the wild. It's impossible for us to replicate exactly what they eat in the wild because it's based on their Mediterranean homeland and its seasons. Our goal, though, is to get as close to that as we possibly can. This takes effort and is not easy, as other pets can be, but having a Horsefield is awesome and it's totally worth it, and it's a lot of fun. So most of the foods we will be feeding him or her are based around green leaves and edible flowers. In addition, they need a diet high in calcium and fiber and low in protein. Having a variety of foods as much as possible is important to be healthy. Don't get in the routine of feeding them the same thing every day. Definitely mix it up. Okay, now food sources. The correct natural diet that your Horsefield tortoise is used to in the wild basically helps it maintain peak health, maximum vitality, and lives to be the happiest and most stress-free and longest life possible. So the best version of himself will all come down to the correct environment, which is housing essentially, and a diet, and the food that you provide him. Having the correct food types, water, and amounts of these do nothing though, and can't be processed or metabolized if the temperature and lighting is not right. A Horsefield tortoise can starve to death with all the food in front of him if the temperature is wrong. The temperature needs to be around 23.9 to 35 Celsius, which is 75 to 95 Fahrenheit. So be sure in the housing section that we previously covered to execute correctly the temperature and lighting. A lot of the eating habits have a lot to do with the temperature, and that needs to be correct. Horsefields eat plants known to be poisonous to humans, but consume them just fine, so don't worry. There are plants that are poisonous to Horsefields, including mushrooms and certain other plants, but they're not always the same ones that are poisonous to us humans. One important thing to ask yourself is, where am I actually going to get the food to feed my tortoise? Because it is definitely crucial to have a large variety of food, and it's also likely that you will pull food from several different sources. So with that being said, let's dive into that. So moving on to food sources here, there's 4 different types that I would recommend. The first is grocery stores. So grocery stores and your local supermarkets are going to be one of the most convenient places to go to and buy food from, but you must not rely just on this one source alone. Although it seems like the perfect solution, these food markets actually provide food that can contain pesticide residues and also unhealthy fiber, sugar levels for your Horsefield. You can get quite a few leafy greens and vegetables from grocery stores, but your pet can become unhealthy with only store-bought food. The second option is online. There are only a few food items that you should be buying online. 2 include the Cuttlebone and the Missouri Tortoise Diet brand. The rest of your online purchases should be based around housing and getting his living conditions right. Things like hiding spots, housing, tortoise tables, things like that. Okay, the third option here are pet stores. Avoid general and generic large pet stores, as they usually are not trained on specific needs of a Horsefield tortoise, and they usually don't typically sell any food products that you should be feeding your tortoise. There are a few good products like the Missouri Tortoise Diet, but there are many ones that they might try to refer you to that wouldn't be ideal. So definitely seek the advice from specialty reptile stores. Most establishments have extensive knowledge on the needs of Horsefields versus the sort of the large, generic, franchise pet stores. So as far as the pet stores go, definitely niche down to the reptile ones. The majority of your food will not be found here though, as they do need fresh leafy greens and vegetables. Any pet store or reptile store is not a food market, but you can supplement with, like I recommended, the Missouri Tortoise Diet and a few others at your local pet reptile store. Okay, the fourth option is grow food yourself. This has been a preview of the Horsefield Russian Tortoise training course. If you'd like to continue this training, click the link in the description below this video. And I'll be sending you more free information on the Horsefield Russian Tortoise care, including buying, housing, food, diet, hibernation, breeding, and health. So go ahead and click the link below and I will see you there.